Hi, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Sharon Shaden Burks, and you have joined us here at the Idea Networking session for December 2025. And happy early holidays. If you're in the US, we've made it through a big one. Well, I don't know, maybe Halloween counts, but we made it through Thanksgiving, and now we are looking forward to the next one. My kids are very much looking forward to it. And today we have two returning guest speakers. Both Mandy Brown and Steve Corney have been here before, but they always have really interesting, great things to share about their experiences in the field of L&D, and I'm happy to have them back. And now I realize I did not figure out the order that they were going to go in. But Steve, you're already unmuted. Would you like to go first?
Rock, paper, scissors,
Okay,
shoot.
here
I'll
we go.
uh I'll do it for sure. Folks, what a treat. What a treat to be. I've got two US adventures today. I've got ID Lance tomorrow and of course they wanted to do it today and I said, "Sorry. I need Sharon's asked me to come and hang out." So I refused the juggernaut ID Lance to hang out with y'all today. So it's such a privilege. I love this group and what my little chat today is about is fully guided by you. So I'd love to sort of know where everyone's at right now and what you like, what's something that you need, because it's all well and good for me to sort of give you my perspective and opinion, which I'll happily do that. But I've got some cool stuff to share with you as well. So some little goodies, because it is the holiday season. I figured what can I find in my little toolkit? I called Ryan from CoAssemble, which is a little new authoring tool. I've got free trials, like lifetime free trials for everyone as an early Christmas present. I've got copies of my book to give away as well. All that sort of stuff. So in the chat, like bang out like where you're at right now. Are you looking? Are you currently working? Are you freelancing? Like where are you at so that I can guide that. But while I do that, I'll keep an eye on the clock for about 7 minutes, Sharon, and then obviously talk about what I've been thinking about. So I'm coming up on 2 decades in L&D, and I haven't really ever had a job in L&D. When I started almost 20 years ago, I bluffed my way into a contract to build communications training. And I remember it so vividly. I was sitting across the table from this head of learning, and I was like, "Oh, I don't have any skills." But they found me on my website on Google and basically reached out and said, "Hey, can you run a communications program?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I had this meeting. They're like, "Can you run it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I can do that." And they go, "How much is it going to cost?" And I took a breath and I took this minute pause, and fortunately, the L&D manager saw that I was absolutely out of my depth, but he said, "Yeah, it'll be about 5 grand, Steve, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, I was going to pitch $500." And this guy just like literally saved the day for me. And after he's like, "Look, I knew you were going to lowball yourself. I saved you. Just do a good job. Don't make me look bad." And that was my start in the learning industry. A random Google contact form fill out, me bluffing my way into something, and then all of a sudden, here I am 19 and a half years later, running an agency, never having an L&D job, but hiring hundreds of learning designers throughout my career. So I think that's the sort of value that I can bring. But I'm getting to the end. Like the sun is setting on my, illustrious, non-award winning learning career. And I think it's a really interesting time to be alive. And looking in the chat, Elizabeth, you're looking for contracts. Nothing after that. Got it. Western sourcing freelance jobs. Yeah, got it. Russell, looking for, yeah, okay. Nice. So getting some traction there. 5 companies. It's good, man. And it's a jungle out there. Like recruiting and getting into this space. Elena's looking to pivot. First idea. Samantha, congratulations. That's awesome. Wow, my God. I remember when I first started, nervously bullshitting my way through a pitch for this comms training. Look, the I spent some time in Japan recently, and I went up to I was in Shibuya. I went up to the top of the Shibuya sky, and I sat there and I looked out over Tokyo. And if you've ever been to Tokyo, it is the biggest city, like from an expansion perspective in the world. You can't see the end of it. And I was sitting there going, what's coming for us in L&D? And for my team of about 10, I caught up with them after, and I said, look, I've seen the end of L&D because I see AI doing so much. And when I go and pitch for work, and pitch for gigs for Learn Awesome and for my team, I'm finding a lot more difficulty and resistance around getting freelancers, getting contractors in because Jimmy from marketing or Susie the intern can vibe code stuff now using Lovable, or they can custom code things using all of these amazing AI tools. So I think the biggest piece of advice I can give is augment your human skills with AI. So you need to know how AI works. You need to know how these tools are going. And it's tricky, right? Because if you want to master video, if you want to master text, if you want to master storyboarding, if you want to master voiceover, like you've got lots of domains to keep your finger on the pulse on. But being able to, be able to do that, but still be a human and recognize that the learner's a human and connect with these people at a human level is going to be the place where you succeed going through. And so, yeah, Sharon, thank you for transcribing that. But I think that's super important. So, Elizabeth, update your portfolio. I love portfolios, but portfolios must be videos of you walking through why you built your program, not show like, here's my program, and then let me compare it. As the hiring manager, I'll just compare apples with apples. If you just give me a link to your module, I'll just compare you and your design skills. What I won't do is I won't then I wonder why you chose to use Rise instead of Storyline for this project, because that's the insight that a video portfolio can provide. Here's my project that I'm sharing in the background. You use Loom to do that, Loom. If you don't know about Loom, it's the third wonder of the world. And hey, this is why I built it. This was the problem that I solved. This was the audience, and they were predominantly mobile first. So we chose a mobile responsive tool like Rise or Chameleon or CoAssemble to use instead of Storyline. So for me, as a hiring manager, I'm in because I can teach you how to design. I can teach you how to use authoring tools. What I can't teach you is how to think like a learner, how to think like a designer. So having that skill is super, super important. Suzanne, it's so good. Newbies are the best things ever, because also have a fundamental belief that you don't need to have qualifications in learning to be a great learning designer. And for me, I don't. And I qualified in law and business, and then just fell in love with being curious and then asking people how they wanted to receive things. So yeah, I think that's super super important. Sharon, I'm just going to stop because man, I could just jam out all day. How long have I got? How long have I got? I'll pivot into another point if I've got some time. If not, happy to hang around.
I think we're at 7:10. Let's go ahead and save for breakout rooms,
Yeah,
follow-up
perfect.
questions. Yeah.
Easy
Uh,
peasy.
Mandy, I'm gonna spotlight you.
Sweet. Can I hide my face?
And not if I spotlight you.
I know, I know. Hi everyone. I'm Andy Brown. I have been in a like officially in instructional design since 2020. I was doing instructional design, contract work kind of stuff as a teacher. I was the uh, I was the English department for a discipline campus. So I had to be certified in GT, ESL, pre-AP, AP, all the SPED, and all of the grade levels for high school. And the only way to survive it was to create e-learning and to send them to the things that they needed specifically, because every kid can get in trouble, right? And then COVID came around, and my husband and I are both high risk. And so we both had to transition into instructional design for a remote role. I got in with Berlitz, which is a language learning company, stayed there for about a year, moved over into a consulting firm for about 4 years, and then decided I really want to be in the data of why we're building what we're building. And now I'm a learning program manager, and that is what I'm doing. I I want to echo a lot of the things that Steve said. Like, AI is changing how we do things. AI can't think critically though, and that's where you're gonna have your benefits, and that's where you're gonna be setting yourself apart. AI might be able to look at data and say, like, here are the trends and here's the patterns, but only I'm going to know, okay, but that doesn't really matter to my company because of XYZ. And actually, this is the higher priority. And then when it comes to actually applying for jobs, AI is everywhere. Like it's in, like applicants are using it to write their cover letters and update their resumes, and companies are using it to sort through those resumes and cover letters. Um, and I don't want to say don't use AI in your job hunt. Definitely do, but do alter it so that you aren't removing your own voice and sounding like everybody else. You don't want to be generic in your applications. And then on top of that, remember that like humans hire humans. So you have to be doing this networking. You have to be talking to people. I would highly recommend emailing hiring managers when they say they're hiring for a thing. But do apply first. Apply first, and then email. Don't don't try to jump the line, so to speak. But yeah, that's where I am. I've been here. I've been in this role for 2 months now. Very very exciting and learning lots of things.
Mandy, do you still do any coaching?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I totally still do coaching. It's a little bit less so this year. I think with all of the layoffs and whatnot, people don't have as much resources, but I do have a sliding scale. Um, but yeah, I do have my side hustle as well.
Some feel free to drop that link in the
Sure.
chat. We have a little bit of time before breakout rooms. I'll just put it out there for both Steve and Mandy. Um, do you have any insights on the current job market, how it is out there? Have you heard anything? Anything you've gathered? Steve, would you like to go first?
Yeah, look, down in Oz, the Wizard of Oz in the future, the market's buoyant, but as Mandy said, it's tricky to stand out, right? So you need something to stand out. So what I find is that as a freelancer, I'm a freelancer, but I've got a team of ten people, so it means that we can go for bigger gigs. But I usually get at least 2 or 3 calls a week. I just got off a call from someone who was looking for an instructional designer, but the challenge that they had is that they said, yeah, our last instructional designer was a bit too scattered all over the place and couldn't really nail the learner problem, which meant that the stuff that they were creating was just vibe coded garbage. And so, yeah, again, the market here is solid. It just comes down to you've got to play the AI game to be able to get in, and then once you're in, it's so easy to move to the next thing. It's just getting your first or next gig is so important. And so the insight from this hiring manager just before was, if someone just reached out to me and sent me a video resume that allowed me to get to know them, it would really set them apart. And so these people aren't hiring through the normal channels. They're hiring people who just present themselves as someone who can solve the problem. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing down here, which is exciting.
Mandy?
Yeah, well, I was recently applying for jobs. So I kind of have the other side of it was like I've always told my mentees and I've always find that it works best for me when I've applied through the company website and then also contacted people at that company. So leveraging LinkedIn and having actually valuable conversations that aren't just hey, I applied, I'm looking forward to talking with you, but going like, hey, I see that you need this really specific skill in my last role. Here's how I used that skill to help the company make $1 million in 6 months, right? So like having that data point to be able to set yourself against the group is what's really going to stand out. And so I highly recommend having actual data points on your bullets when and it doesn't necessarily need to be a like here is the exact percentage because I know that some of y'all weren't in those jobs anymore. It just needs to be the data points that you can kind of estimate and feel is honest about the work that you did. But that's what sets you apart is like everyone can use AI to say like, hey, I am a instructional designer with this many years of experience who has expertise in creating engaging learning experiences, right? It's going to say that for everybody. It's going to sound generic. But if you can go, I have expertise in catching the reluctant learner, and in my last job, I was able to raise engagement by 300%. That's going to set you aside than other things. And by the way, that one, that one little tidbit of engagement, that was my attendance. That was my attendance score. So I like added a gamification program to my to my learning at the classroom, and it raised attendance by 300%. That's incredible. But no one can say that except for me. So that's what sets me apart, right? So finding those bullet points that you can put the data in, super helpful.
And I will add on, wow, I guess it has been a couple months. In August we posted a job, and we are so slow in higher education
Yeah.
for hiring. But we finally got our person on board in the middle of October. And and the other side, the person who is doing the hiring, I will add on to what Steve said, that it is very helpful to have and see a digital portfolio when you are making decisions. It didn't decide who we were going to choose, but it pulled some people to the top of the pile of, okay, I'd like to talk to you. And I want to say that we had a handful of transitioning teachers or recently transitioned teachers. So people maybe who were looking to get into ID from the beginning, and also a couple that had done ID jobs a year or less. And we were really interested in specifically in the candidates that that had a year or maybe 2 years of experience in ID. But it didn't have to be full-time ID. I think we were willing to look at just any experience because they showed a lot of curiosity, a lot of willingness to learn. So I think that there is a draw for that kind of candidate. Um, but you have to kind of make it out of that pile, and that's what makes a digital portfolio so appealing. I shared with you in the chat AI course development Kickstarters, which is a presentation I gave last spring. So I'm sure if you've been doing a lot of AI, it might be old news, maybe. I don't know. Feel free to check it out. I need to share with you that the next time that we are meeting is January 6th it's also a Tuesday, 7 to 8 p.m. And you can get registered today if you want to have it on your calendar. I cannot spell registration.
It's a
Um,
tough one. It's like aluminium. How do you guys do it? You guys defy the laws of English sometimes.
we do. Steve put in the chat that if you want a copy of his book, yes, let him know. He can give you a copy. I got my copy. What else? Oh yes, if you would like to share feedback with me on today's session, you can do so at this link. We can open up for questions. What questions are out there that we can, as a group, answer, take one by one? Oh, thank you. Mandy put in the chat that she has a free LinkedIn guide. Cool. Can I put that in my resources that I send out in an
Oh,
email?
absolutely.
Okay,
If I have anything that's just free on my stuff, you are welcome to include it.
wonderful.
Oh, Sharon, I'll send you the PDF to the book. You can give the book out to everyone.
Okay,
I've the books just for people for the world. So
sure. Yeah,
let's
I'll
grab
include
it.
that in my email.
Yep, easy. Questions and queries, folks. So we talked in our breakout room about how you can just sort of bypass some of the expense of tool acquisition, getting creative with email addresses and borrowing your neighbor's kids' student card so you can sign up to the student versions of stuff. Like you got to be thrifty. You got to be thrifty when you get started. You know.
have like 5 different Gmail accounts, right?
Well, if you own yourdomain.com, you can set up a million different email addresses. And that
Yeah,
means the 30-day trial never really ends, right?
switching it out.
Picking up, picking up what I'm putting down, folks. I'm not saying anything. Like, I'm not saying don't do it. I remember what it was like to start, but yeah, definitely,
Yeah, you
definitely.
gotta scrap it together with duct tape and cardboard.
100%. 100%. 19 years and my duct tape's still holding strong, you know? It's like that flex tape commercial, yeah? Like boom.
No questions
So
tonight, maybe.
what else have I got for you? What else have I got for you? So ID Lancers tomorrow. So freelancers specifically. Yeah, I'm doing an Ask Me Anything for a whole hour about the business of learning. So
Is there a
that's
registration link for that, Steve?
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure because I'm joining from the future. So yeah, ID Lance is the community.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd encourage you to just join in there, and then the event links will be there. But I'll go and look for it while we get some
I think
questions. Come on, folks.
I think I have, I don't know, is that the right link? I think it is.
Yeah,
I've
that looks pretty
done
cool.
before.
That looks pretty solid. Yeah.
I usually have some kind of thing to share AI related, but man, this last month has been so, I don't know, busy and not with AI. We've been doing a lot of LMS migration stuff, and then there was a holiday, and we had a bunch of stuff that we need to get done before the holiday. So nothing to
I
share
have
today.
an ID consulting and staffing list I can share. Let me throw that in the
Yeah.
chat.
You don't ask, you don't get, folks. I
Looking for
mean,
my freebies here.
get in there. Get in there. I remember starting out. I wish I had a community. I wish I had a Sharon that just allowed me to rock up and ask people who have lived in the trenches to what would they do. So this is your chance. Like this is your chance, folks. It's a lot of generous folks in the learning community. So yeah, definitely spread your LinkedIn wings and start posting your projects, posting your wins.
Yes.
Um, NDAs is an interesting one. So this is a challenge in the world, which I don't believe really exists if you're creative enough. But a lot of freelancers struggle and they justify why they don't have a portfolio because of the NDA, non-disclosure agreement, right? So I can't share my client's work. True, correct. I 100% agree. But what you can do is you can use Control C, Control V on your computer, copy the project, and then what we have in our world. So Learn Awesome's our agency. So we do work for a bank in Australia, Australia Bank, and then we create the Bank of Awesome with the Learn Awesome logo, and we duplicate the program, remove the sensitive data, but then keep the interactions and the cool shit that we've built. So that's our way around the NDA because we're not showing the sensitive work, we're just showing the great work that we do. Another reason video is so valuable is that you can redact and blur out sensitive info, but still show the great work that you've done and the reason that you've done it. So yeah, the excuse is a good one, and I've used it, but yeah, now it's like, can't you just mock something up, bro? Come on.
Yeah,
So
just
yeah,
reskin it. It's fine.
reskin's
They
that's the
do it in D&D all the time.
yeah. Oh, so good. So good.
Well, if we don't have anything else, that is also okay. We can end
It's okay.
a little bit early. Maybe they did such a good job in breakout rooms, you don't have any more questions, and that's okay too. Good job, Mandy and Steve.
Well, if you have questions, you know where to find us, folks. Like I think that's the important thing.
Oh
My
yeah,
LinkedIn inbox is or like Paul and I are jamming out in the LinkedIn chat right now. So I just sent Paulie the book. There it is. Boom. Yeah. So my LinkedIn's always open, and we're in the future. So if you want to know whether the sun's going to rise tomorrow, just ping me and I'll send you a screenshot.
beautiful. All right. All right, guys. I thank you, Steve and Mandy, for coming and sharing everything. Maybe not everything that you know, but
Oof, pretty close.
the relevant things that we wanted to know about. We sure thank you for your expertise. And all of you, I hope to see you back here in the new year in 2026. And if you remember, make sure you send Steve a message and so he can tell us if we make it to 2026.
It's 2 New Years. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and I'll see you very soon. Bye, all.
Thanks,
Thanks,
folks.
everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Later.